This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
Stop messing with the baseballs. Who gives a flying fuck if it's a slugging game, that ends in 15-2, or a pitcher's duel that ends, 2-1?
Nick Morgeson. It's Major League Baseball, which means everyone is working together and Rob is doing nothing. And Nick Federa.
This is why vaccines don't work. No, this is proof positive that they do work, because even though they have the COVID protocols are in place and they are testing positive for the virus, 7 out of the 8 were asymptomatic to start with, and the one person who was symptomatic is no longer symptomatic.
Empty the Bench starts now. Tim Tebow's head is up Urban Meyer's tight end.
Well, I think a couple of those quotes actually are going to be quite appropriate for how today's episode might go. I'm kind of nervous on how certain topics are going to be talked about today, but welcome to Empty the Bench episode number 86. I'm Tom Aldano, along with Nick Federa and Nick Morgeson. Gentlemen, the sports world from Monday through even just a few hours ago has been quite an earthquake.
Yeah. And when we do these shows, our pre-show meetings on Wednesday, we usually don't say, we usually leave the caveat if something else happens, and usually it does.
Well, I'll say something happened an hour after we had gotten done with our meeting, and now something has happened today. So what will we be talking about today? Just to run through some topics. Well, we're going to be talking...
I want to say one thing. You beat me to an NBA story, which is impressive, by the way, that I didn't see this until you posted this story.
Thank my dogs for waking me up earlier than I intended.
So,
but before we do, I'd say just to run through what we're going to talk about today, we're going to be talking about issues in baseball, from unwritten rules to changing the game and the heaviness on pitching. We'll be talking
you mean dead ball era? You mean?
Maybe. We'll be talking about, let's see, Albert Pujols is back in the news right after we had talked about him just a couple weeks ago. After we had gotten done with our show last week, news broke. And we actually have a report from the past 24 hours involving the NFL. Plus, we'll give a little previews about hockey and basketball playoffs. Speaking of...
Wait a minute. Are you actually going to watch the NBA playoffs?
Well... Gentlemen, on that note, we have some breaking news. So, a Woj bomb was dropped last night, and an updated Woj bomb was dropped just a few hours ago that LeBron James violated NBA COVID protocols by attending an event to promote his brand of, I believe it's a whiskey brand?
Tequila
brand.
Oh, wait a minute. You got to read the last part of the sentence, which blew my mind.
However, because I'd say I'm trying to find here is the quote from the Woj report. Because the nature of the event didn't rise to a threat level of virus spread, LeBron James will not be forced to miss any games or be suspended or anything of that matter.
Now, parsing through the legalese, which I'm pretty sure was given to Woj by a robot, because no human comes up with that as an excuse.
Wait a minute, you're implying that Woj is not a robot?
Yes, I'm implying that the person that he quoted was an actual robot, meaning beep boop robot.
Okay, here's the problem, and I told the guys that when I saw this report come out, there's going to be a massive NBA explosive volcano coming through here.
So can I read like the first 6 paragraphs of this to explain the situation?
We'll skim through it, yeah.
Okay. Lakers star LeBron James is found to be in breach of the health and safety protocols. James won't be suspended, as I said, because of the nature of the event not rising to... All right, so here's the details. Here's the key details. James was one of several high-profile guests present at a promotional event for a tequila brand he backs earlier this week before the play-in game against the Warriors. The tequila was poured at a brief outdoor shoot. Invitees included Drake and Michael B. Jordan, among other stars.
Who were at the game, by the way.
Everyone had to produce proof of vaccination or recent negative test in order to attend. Even with those measures, James, who has declined to say whether he has received the COVID-19 vaccination, was found to be in violation of league's health and safety protocols. Here's a quote from a league spokesperson. It's a violation of the agreed upon protocols, and as we have in other comparable instances around the league, it has been addressed with the team.
Excuse me? What do you mean it's been addressed with the team? If it was addressed, then he should have been sitting on the sideline in what's the word I'm looking for?
COVID protocol in the playing game.
Right, because this is a major violation of every sort of NBA COVID-19 protocol rule that there is.
Well, speaking as kind of the de facto amateur epidemiologist here on Empty the Bench, I really feel like it is, again, how should I put this? I don't feel like this is specifically a LeBron James problem as it is an NBA problem, in that he, meaning Adam Silver, does not want the, shall I call it, the money goose to be slaughtered.
No, it's an NBA problem, but now it's become a LeBron problem because, like Tom said before we started the show, if they ask you, did you get the vaccine, and you say you're not going to answer it, that's BS.
I mean, you technically don't have to answer because
you technically don't have to answer, but
he's a public figure, Nick.
Time out. The problem we have, guys, is just the last week or two ago, we were discussing an issue going on in Major League Baseball where 7 or 8 Yankee members, from players and staff members, plus over in San Diego, probably the face of baseball now, Fernando Tatis Jr., all had to enter COVID-19 protocols in spite of them getting a vaccination because they had come in contact with people who had tested positive. And actually, Nick, if we go back to the intro, we took a quote from you where we were saying that situation was proof positive that COVID vaccines work. So here's the problem that you have. So yes, he could have produced either, he could have been vaccinated or he could have produced the negative test. The problem with the negative test is that means he's at more risk, of potentially carrying it, getting infected by it, and spreading it to other players.
Wait. Again, depending on the vaccine, we still don't know if you can carry the virus and spread it asymptomatically.
There's one.
Again, the research is not there yet.
We're missing an issue here, which is, why are you hiding the fact whether you got the COVID vaccine or not? That's the biggest BS I've ever heard.
But I'm saying, technically he doesn't have to, but this is one of those situations where, HIPAA be damned, it's probably in the best interest of public health that you state whether or not you were vaccinated.
Public health and public relations, to be honest with you.
And you know what?
From that angle, have the Lakers put out a statement yet?
Doesn't seem like it.
And you know what? That's BS too, that the Lakers did not put out a statement. They're hiding behind Adam Silver and the crock pot that is the NBA right now.
And this is a problem. And this is, sorry, Nick, but this is just, I'll say, and this goes to, I'll say, we've said when the Yankees and Padres news story happened that we don't want to make this a PSA for vaccines, but this is another situation where, honestly, LeBron has so much, he could do so right here by saying that he was vaccinated, by promoting the vaccine. Like over here in New York, it's sad because we have to use incentives like the chance at free Nets tickets or the chance at free Shake Shack and other items.
Oh, wait, I can't make that joke. Sorry, I can't make that joke. Go ahead.
or a chance to win a lottery, or
like what happened to just doing the right thing?
Because that doesn't exist. LeBron James.
Because people are stubborn. I think the messaging around messaging around around vaccinations are definitely lacking.
Nick, but if LeBron James said he got the vaccine and promoted it, don't you think that would help?
It would. It absolutely would help.
It would make a difference, but at the same time, this is LeBron's MO. Okay, he doesn't do anything based off of what everybody else does. It's either his way or no way at all, because LeBron is the commissioner of the NBA.
Well, was he the only NBA player there? According to that, what Woj said.
Woj does not have any. Woj does not say whether or not any other NBA players. So
I'm assuming his teammates are probably there in some regard. Probably.
I'd assume at least AD.
So because I'm trying to figure out what the NBA's.
Well, wait, but you just said, but Nick, you just said like Drake and Michael B. Jordan were there, but they were also at the game.
They were at the game. They were sitting front row.
So, but the point that I'm trying to make here, or the question I'm asking, is what is it specifically that he did that was considered to be a violation of COVID protocol?
He was holding an event with a bunch of people at it.
Not having a mask on, not being vaccinated. They're being vague about
the rules are you cannot hold large events with a bunch of people in it. That's the rules.
But wasn't it like more than 15 people or something like that?
It's a LeBron event. It's definitely more than 15 people.
Again, I don't think you're going to get that information, and any information you are going to get.
But I think that gives us a right then to be speculative that they're sweeping this under the rug.
And you know what? I'm tired of LeBron being treated like the god that he is, where he gets away with every single thing that he does. It's enough.
Well, okay, let's even backing away from the LeBron angle and just take it out the NBA angle. Guys, this has become time and time again this season where there's a problem involving COVID with the NBA. First, it was in December, starting the season, no bubbles, in spite of the fact that we were going through a second national outbreak of COVID-19 at that time around the holidays. And
I'll throw you one more. Adam Silver went on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, the ESPN Radio Morning Show the other day, and said, we're running a full season starting in October. We're going back. We're going back to normal schedule.
I will say, well, I'm not surprised by that because the NFL has stated also that they want to go a full season.
But how is that possible? We're not up to our herd immunity. How can we be doing that?
Again, because herd immunity really doesn't mean much to these people. It's about serving the economic interests and not the public health interests, which is, again, a tragedy.
Go ask the UFC, Tom. You know all about this, that they're basically in Texas doing full shows. And then I heard the WWE.
More than human lives.
And now WWE,
That's how they think.
So,
but at the least with the but at least I'll say the UFC I won't defend because we've seen Dana's takes on COVID. But at least with the WWE, they have also been promoting the COVID vaccine. And again, the NBA and LeBron James they could promote the vaccine, help get more people vaccinated, but they choose not to.
And on top of that, and Nick said I was crazy, I'm going to make this statement anyway, that LeBron should be banned for the rest of the playoffs.
I don't know if I would go that far, but he needs to be in protocol. How many instances of the NBA, like Nick, Kevin Durant, when he was pulled mid-game? Or
he was pulled mid-game. In fact, it happened to Justin Turner in the World Series,
we talked about that last week. Yeah.
Right.
But LeBron does not deserve special treatment. I'm sorry. I know the guys probably think this goes with my LeBron James hate culture, but I think I have legitimate beef here.
No, I was saying,
you do.
Usually, yeah. Here, in this case, you do. This
here
is
legitimate. You do, but I wouldn't carry it that far. But that's just me. I mean,
but he needs to be placed in protocols. I'm sorry.
But
if you don't come out and say what happened, or he goes in protocol.
Well, no, actually, I would say you don't play until you tell us what happened. That's what I would do. But Adam Silver, who is the biggest, greediest commissioner in all of sports, in my opinion now, we're just going to hide it as a quote saying that didn't rise to a threat level of virus spread. I'm telling you right now, everybody listen to me. That is a quote that's basically being translated as saying, we're not taking LeBron off the court. We're not going to take the Lakers down to a weak strength because then we lose on our bottom line.
But this is something that was always going to happen.
But it doesn't matter, Nick. He broke the rule.
I know it does. I know it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that this was always going to happen.
So I'm looking at actually LeBron had a conversation with a reporter on Friday. So I'd say this is further down in the Woj story. So obviously, Nick, as you know, several weeks ago, LeBron constantly sat out. Didn't exactly come back.
Well, he was hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, at the end of the day, if I'm not 100% or close to 100%, it doesn't matter where we land in the standings. So here's the more of the story from Woj. With that reasoning in mind, James was asked by a reporter on Friday if the consequences that come with being placed in the league's health and safety protocols during playoffs, being unavailable to his teammates for potentially 10 to 14 days, affects his decision whether to pursue the vaccine. And he says, here's a quote, anything I do off the floor is predicated to my family for 99.9% of that. So it's about the health and safety of my family, and that's what it came down to. Me being available to my teammates on the floor is me taking care of my body, me doing everything I can do to make sure I'm available both mentally, physically, and spiritually as well. But anything of that nature, that's all family talk. When the reporter followed up by asking James if he had received the vaccine, he replied, it's not a big deal.
Wait, whoa. Wait, he said it's not a big deal whether he got the vaccine or not? Are you kidding me?
It is a big deal.
He says it's a private matter, which technically, yes, is a private matter, but it is a fucking big deal, LeBron.
It's the NBA. It's an organization which people are following, going through the COVID-19 protocols. I'm sorry, LeBron, this is not private.
And I hate to say it because both of these sports have, all three of these sports have holes in it. But the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, and even the NHL have handled this better than the NBA has.
Absolutely.
In terms of vaccinating their players.
I'd say, and that, I was going to say, I was trying to think of because it goes back again to what we said about the NBA, about how this is not the first time we've had an NBA controversy with COVID. Starting at the beginning of the season, December, them not being in bubbles in spite of the fact that we were going through another national outbreak during the holiday season. And then, if you remember, I just lost my train of thought.
Well, I think what you mean is just that the protocols, we were trying to handle the protocols, doing everything.
When they tried to jump the line for the vaccine.
Yeah.
When they tried
Wait a minute. You're talking about the whole Charles Barkley comment when they said that the NBA should jump the line and pay for the vaccine and everything.
Even Adam Silver was saying that they were looking into potentially jumping the line. Did he not?
He mentioned it, but it didn't mean he was going to do it.
Okay, but regardless, we had the rumors of the NBA potentially jumping the line, which I'm sorry was wrong then, and I'd say
even wronger now.
The NBA needs to stop covering up for the Lakers and LeBron. I'm sorry, and we're gonna talk quickly about another issue I had with the Lakers and the Warriors game, but they need to stop covering for the Lakers. If the Lakers are meant to lose and LeBron is breaking protocol, then if you don't do it for him, why do you do protocol for everybody else? Everyone else is going to break the rules.
I was going to say, I didn't watch I admit I didn't watch the Lakers game too much because I had other programming to watch at that point. But my problem is just the fact that, I'd say fouls, controversial foul calls be damned. If this happened before the play-in game, LeBron James should not have been playing in the play-in game.
He shouldn't have been playing in the game. This is going to sound like a broken record a million times. LeBron broke COVID protocol. Wojnarowski clearly has the report that says he broke COVID protocol. If that's the case, he never should have played the game. Plus, if he's on the court during a COVID violation, everyone else now is in effect of what's going on with LeBron.
They should be. I'd say not to bring MLB back into this, but this goes to what we were conversating about the 7 or 8 people who on the Yankees. Technically, they were all in the dugout. They're all in the clubhouse together. How is everybody else not technically?
And by the way, Nick, I need to ask this question, which is, I'm tired of them saying that, if we're 10 feet away from somebody for 15 minutes, that's BS. I'm sorry, it's BS because you're in the same locker room.
Technically, yeah, because we now know that COVID now spreads more easily as an aerosol, so it really doesn't matter how far away you are.
Thank you. So
you wear a mask and get vaccinated, folks. That's a lesson you should take from that.
LeBron can go take a hike. I'm done. He should be banned for the rest of the playoffs. I hope the Lakers lose to the Suns in the next round. I don't want to see any more LeBron. I don't want to watch any games with LeBron. I'm done.
Guys, I'll do you one better, Nick. Guys, when you talk about playoffs today, in our little preview section, enjoy the next run. I'm out. I won't be watching any NBA.
I'll watch any other game besides the Lakers.
I'm not. I'll be watching hockey playoffs. Hockey players are a lot more exciting, anyways, in my book.
I mean,
I believe in the Knicks. I can't just let that go. It's a rare beast when they make the playoffs.
I understand, but I feel like James Dolan's still going to ruin him in the offseason.
We'll come back.
We'll
come back to the playoffs at the end.
All right, so now, guys,
you didn't have to pee in my cereal that soon into the podcast, Tom.
Guys, let's go from being mad about COVID protocols to being mad about unwritten rules.
Man, this is going to be an angry episode today, isn't it?
Okay, fellas. So I've had about a week and a half to stew over this. And the conclusion that I'm coming to, well, first of all, context is necessary. We need to...
All right, so you remember this was a game between the White Sox and the Twins. And the White Sox were pretty much clapping at the Twins. And basically, a position player was on the mound pitching for the Twins.
Williams Astudillo.
It was a blowout.
It was a blowout. Yermin Mercedes was up. It was a 3-0 count. Apparently, Yermin Mercedes was given the old take the pitch sign. And Yermin Mercedes says he missed it. And what happened next? Yermin Mercedes took a meatball deep. So
deep to left center in target field.
Yeah. And basically came the conversation that actually we had, I believe, earlier this season involving Fernando Tatis Jr.
And by the way,
taking a 3-0 count.
And by the way, when your own manager is throwing you under the bus, that's a chemistry issue.
So the next part, Tony LaRussa, the manager of the White Sox, was very disapproving of Yermin Mercedes' actions. And so what happens? Well, basically a bunch of fellow MLB players basically have to come out basically in support of Mercedes. I believe there was somebody on the White Sox. I don't know if it was Moncada or Abreu.
It was Moncada.
It was Moncada and Tim Anderson, too.
Tim Anderson, that's it. And basically having to stick up for Mercedes in Instagram posts.
Actually, Nick, Abreu was the one that got hit in the retaliation. Or thrown.
He did actually get hit by.
So the next game of the series, Tim Anderson, as you said, Abreu got hit. And basically, Tony La Russa went, I expect it, and I'm not angry at them.
You know what?
Okay, folks. So I've had go ahead, and then I'll say my piece.
Yeah, because Nick, I want you to go last because I know you have a lot to say about this, but I'm tired of these unwritten rules. How come it's okay to hit the first pitch of the at bat, the 0-1, the 1-1, the 2-1, the 2-2, the 3-2, but whenever it's 3-0 and it's a 10-run lead, we can't swing the bat?
I think it more comes down to strategy. So, guys, let me use the example I was using in the pre-show meeting. So let's say I'm up at the plate, and I will tell you, even going back to my Little League days, I sucked at hitting. So for me, a 3-0 count, I won't swing at the next pitch because you know what? If it's a little outside or the up misses the call, hey, free walk down to first base.
Hey, I ain't swinging at nothing.
But but if it's my MLB The Show character who, is in rookie of contention, and it's a 3-0 pitch, a great hitting, when I see a meatball come down the plate,
the ball
I ain't going to be
out of the park.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just tired of this whole situation in general where, well, you can't do this. You can't swing at a 3-0 pitch. If you homer off me, I'm going to plunk you in your next at bat.
The argument that this is the way that things have always been done has been used to excuse a lot of terrible behavior, especially in life and in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's why the leagues weren't integrated until 47. That's why Ty Cobb, a racist, was allowed to be racist.
Here's my thing about LaRussa.
Just to beat up people in the stands who heckled him.
Here's my problem with LaRussa and him basically throwing Mercedes under the bus. So you know what? I'm actually not surprised the next day the Twins went and threw at him. But rather than say, I'm not surprised and I'm not mad about it, it's just one of those things where, if you're the umpire, you should be warning both sides. And after the game, LaRussa should say, it happens, and then carry on with it. You don't need to.
I need to make one argument. I'll let you finish. That warnings don't work in Major League Baseball anymore. They just don't.
Warnings do not work. But
then, okay, so then if the White Sox retaliated, you throw people out of the game.
Yeah, and that doesn't work either. You still have people retaliating at the next game or whatever.
But,
It doesn't matter.
again, guys, my problem with LaRussa is at that point, then you don't throw your own player under the bus. You say it happened. You say here's what you say. You say it happened, and we move on. We move on to the next game of the season.
You do not throw your own players under the bus publicly. He is trying to lose the respect of his clubhouse. He's trying to break a land speed record to get his players to hate him.
They already do.
But I was gonna say, but again, well, I was gonna say it's not exactly a good look when your own players are basically posting, anti what you say on social media, and again,
passive aggressive Instagram messages.
And again,
by the way,
why
was that not disciplined when that happened either? Because that probably should be a discipline offense right there.
Well, it's probably
you mean on the player's part, or discipline as in LaRussa getting disciplined?
You shouldn't be trashing your own team on social media.
They probably did do something like that internally.
I'd say probably kangaroo court. Kangaroo.
Oh wait! I'll tell you what the punishment was.
Slap on the wrist.
Well, guys, I have a question. Why is Tony LaRussa the manager of this team?
Exactly. He is out of touch. I mean, look.
Not even that he's out of touch, but that you have a young team. You have a young team that's now first place in the AL Central. Why is the manager, in spite of Tony LaRussa's World Series experience, and I guess that's why, but why is it not someone? Yeah, I'm just shocked that they went with Tony LaRussa and not with
a little bit more. Somebody who hasn't been out of the game for more than
well, let me word it better. I'm surprised the White Sox didn't go with a puppet because we have a lot of puppet managers these days.
We have a lot of puppet managers, but again, Jerry Reinsdorf is kind of prone to these weird decisions.
Well, I think he's so old that he's used to the old-fashioned style of managing. But
I wish there were a little more managers that didn't use the analytics thing. But
I'm tired. I'm tired of the analytics.
But Tony LaRussa. Guys, do you remember back when he first got the job? The Hall of Fame was pissed at him.
Well, because of the drunk driving incident.
Yeah, because twice.
Not the drunk driving incident and the fact that, he's in the Hall of Fame. He should say retired once you get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, right, because Major League Baseball is the only sport, in a sense, where once you're in the Hall of Fame, you're really not supposed to go back. You're retired.
Right, so it's funny. We're talking about unwritten rules. Meanwhile, LaRussa technically broke an unwritten Hall of Fame rule.
In the NBA, I think you can still play if you're in the Hall of Fame. In the NFL, I think you can.
But then, would you assume that? But then that goes my point. Baseball Hall of Fame unwritten rule.
See, in today's game, when I look at Tony LaRussa, I think Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox was the guy who yelled and screamed and broke every traditional rule possible. Do you see Bobby Cox managing in Major League Baseball anymore?
Nope.
No. Tony LaRussa should not be managing in Major League Baseball anymore.
One thing I will say, though, going to CC Sabathia, that rant was absolutely... It was hilarious. It was great. However, he's had his own fair share of throwing at batters, so... that's the one flaw in that it's either you're for unwritten rules or you're completely against them.
Unwritten rules are BS.
But that's my one problem with the CC rant is you can't exactly pick and choose.
No, but can we stop with the 3-0 pitches? If you hang a meatball on 3-0, you're going to want to
get it. Don't throw it.
And also,
there's that.
With home runs being a big deal in today's game. The more you hit, the more money you're going to make in the offseason when you're a free agent.
Nick, did you say home runs? Did you say promotion of hitting?
Oops, did I do that? I'm sorry.
So, guys, we had 2 more no-hitters this week.
Wait a minute. Let me do this.
Consecutive days.
Let me do this. Wait. Let me do this again. Tom got mad at me when I did it during the promo. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 no-hitters.
6 no-hitters. I love how we all went the same route.
Yeah, because we all think alike. But the point... so, again, context is necessary. So, on Tuesday and Wednesday, this past week, Spencer Turnbull of the Tigers pitched a no-hitter against the Mariners.
Mariners, yep. By the way, By the way, second one against the Mariners, and also for Corey Kluber, second one against the Rangers.
Corey Kluber the next day goes down to Texas and pitches an absolute gem of a no-hitter. First one that the Yankees have had since
one walk away from a perfect game.
Doc did in 1996.
Well, technically the first, I'd say, technically a perfect game is a no-hitter. So since Coney in '99.
Right. So, but it was one walk away from a perfect game.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And going back to what you said about the consecutive days, the first time in Major League Baseball we have had no hitters on back-to-back days since I think like the
60 plus years,
68 or 69 season.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't have to be objective in this format, so I'm just going to come out and say it in the interest of full disclosure, guys. I was kind of pumped when Corey Kluber threw that no-hitter.
I was too.
It's exciting to see. I love the Yankees.
Right,
what can I say?
Well, not just that, Nick. Like, I'd say when it was 99 when Coney pitched the perfect game. So I was only 4 years old when he pitched perfect game. I don't exactly have memories of Coney or Wells throwing those perfect games or Gooden's no-hitter. This was the first time.
Vaguely. In fact, I have the we went to the game before that, as a matter of fact.
Wait, did you?
I did. Yeah. The game before Coney pitched that no-hitter, that perfect game, me, my dad, and my brother were there.
Wow.
But my point is, I don't exactly have those memories of a great Yankee pitching performance of a no-hitter or a perfect game. I got one on Wednesday night.
I was only 8 years old and I really wasn't paying attention.
Right, but my point is, it's so great for us, to experience something like this.
By the way, and Nick's not going to like this, but when Spencer Turnbull threw the no-hitter, there was this really excited Tigers fan. I don't know if you saw it on social media, where he screamed after the last out. Dave Portnoy, Barstool saw it, hired him on the spot to do Detroit sports content.
But as I say, Portnoy be damned. Just this actually, I was going to say, that's a good transition because a lot of people are saying, basically the no hitter doesn't mean anything now. And you know what? I understand all the frustration about the focus on pitching.
What do you mean it doesn't mean anything? Of course it means something.
Well, the frustration on, how we just talked about how the ball has basically been deadened. But it's a no-hitter. It's something historic. Corey Kluber, after think about this, guys. Kluber last season in the shortened 2020 season, he signed a 1-year deal with Texas, pitched one inning?
One inning. He got hurt.
Signed with the Yankees on a very, very cheap deal, and now he just pitched an absolute gem against that team that he only got to pitch one inning for.
On his bobblehead night, as a matter of fact.
Right, they were giving away his bobbleheads because, they had no reason.
Extras.
Right. Guys, I'm just saying, within the span of, of an opportunity, Corey Kluber now gets to live in Yankee history forever.
Right.
Well, if I can give you a bit of data to back that up, a quick bit of Google foo basically says that there have been 1,900, almost 1,900 people to play baseball since they started doing it professionally in the 1880s. And there have been 311 no-hitters. That is still rare enough where it should be celebrated.
Can I say one thing, which is people say, well, we've had 6 no-hitters in the first month. Well, you know what? No-hitters are hard to do. Do you know how hard it is to go 9 innings and not give up a hit? It's hard.
Especially with pitch counts and the way that pitchers are used in terms of load management.
I was gonna say it's so hard. I mean, at least for the Yankees' perspective, hard to see a starting pitcher go 5 full innings.
Can I say one thing, which would be skeptical against the no-hitters? Do you know what the record for no-hitters in a season is?
Isn't it 8 or 7?
8 or so?
It's 7. We're at 6. We're at 6.
And we're in May.
And we're in May.
I say, and I get that point. I get, fans going, some fans going, it's absolutely embarrassing because we could have 15 no-hitters. I was going to say, Maggie Gray was talking about this on FAN the other day. I know you don't, but she puts a point. How do you know it's going to be 7 or 8 more no-hitters this season? It could only be 2. It can only be 2 no more no-hitters.
It is though a little insane though that we've already had
It
6
is a
no-hitters.
little insane, and
But-
I do
but-
think,
but they
think
should
that the
still-
ball has been deadened.
And you know what? Technically people are saying we have 7 no-hitters, but that's a whole
Oh yeah, because Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
But that we don't need that bullshit again. But my point is and I think Nick's data backs it up. The no hitter is still something rare that needs to be celebrated. It's a big accomplishment.
Do you know how hard it is to go 9 innings without giving up a hit? I'm going to say it a million times because it's hard.
You try to do it. I know I couldn't do it.
I can't
He
do it.
couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. It's a certain point where you love it when it happened when you do it. You hate it when it happens to you.
I know how hard it is to hit. You know how they say when you go 3 for 10, that's really good. You're hitting 300.
Baseball is a sport of failing.
Yeah, it is a sport of intermittent success amongst a sea of failure.
Actually, guys, I mean, technically, if you watch Secret Bases, the former SB Nation account, and the search for the world status punt, what are they talking about punt? Punting is giving up. Basically, football is also partially a game of failure.
It's all the higher percentage play, and sometimes the higher percentage play is to give up rather than keep going.
The past week, especially in terms of Yankee baseball, with Corey Kluber twirling a no-hitter, them getting a triple play as of last night, it shows why baseball is great.
Guys, again, it goes to my rant. Stop it with this. Let's juice the baseball. Let's deaden the baseball. Let's move the mound back a foot. Let's give the hitters an extra out. Let's do a no pitch intentional. Stop fucking changing the game.
And also,
baseball was beautiful before all these changes, and baseball can still be beautiful. I
need to point out.
I'm sorry, Nick. No. I need to keep going. I don't care if it's a fucking 13-10 slugfest, a 2-1 pitcher's duel like we just saw the other night with the Yankees. I don't care if it's a fucking 20-1 game. Every baseball game has its blessing and it fucking curses. That's what makes this fucking game.
Right. And I was going to say that we had a 20-1 game yesterday. Okay. So we had 2 no-hitters and we had a 20-1 game. So can we stop baseball skeptics? Can we stop with, I'm 70 years old, and back in the day, we had you couldn't break these rules, and get off my lawn if you break these rules.
It doesn't matter. It does not. Guys, baseball should just be a beautiful game that's fucking celebrated. Stop trying to change it for the fact of trying to get, trying to get young people who aren't going to be into the game anyway, trying to get them even further into the game. Stop it, Rob. Stop it. Fucking Tony Clark, just stop it. Let's just enjoy the fucking game for what it is and celebrate these no-hitters from the likes of Kluber, Turnbull, John Means, technically Madison Bumgarner. They should be celebrating what they fucking are.
And Nick, I want you to say it with me, okay? It's a children's game.
Sport. Again, it is a children's sport. Children can do it. If children can do it, that means you can too, and you can enjoy it. You don't have to sit there sucking on a hose of your own farts.
Wow.
I think we found one of our liners for next week.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, now that I've embarrassed myself,
all right, let's talk about some other news that's going on. So, guys, we're gonna talk about the Olympics.
Speaking of farts, the IOC has decided that it wants the IOC, as far as we know, because CNN actually did a segment about this the other day. I happened to be watching, but apparently they want to go full steam ahead with the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo.
Tokyo 2020 in 2021.
Yes,
I'll tell you something. IOC, in case of crazy, break glass.
So
crazy.
This story actually comes from Reuters. I don't think we've ever quoted Reuters on this show.
We have. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, but a top medical organization has thrown its weight behind calls to cancel the Tokyo Olympics, saying hospitals in the country are already overwhelmed. Of course, Japan right now is battling its own spike in coronavirus, and the games
They respiked.
Right. I'll say this, and the organization is the Tokyo Medical Practitioners Association, who represent about 6,000 doctors and hospitals in Japan.
Let's put it this way. Can we just cancel the Olympics and get it over with already? Because that's where we're heading at this point.
We can have the Summer and the Winter Olympics in the same calendar year. They used to do that.
Right. But if I remember correctly, the report last year when COVID was first breaking out was, and the Olympics got delayed, was if it was canceled again, that would be it.
But if anything, this underlines the point I made before, gentlemen, where that money and financial interests always take precedent against human lives, especially with an organization like the IOC, which you could probably say is probably the closest thing we've got to organized crime in sports.
Wow. Wait. Compared to FIFA?
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to FIFA, please.
FIFA almost had a super league, for crying out loud.
No, that wasn't FIFA. The FIFA. You're right. Football almost had a super league, but FIFA had to step in and say, "We'll ban you from the World Cup if you do this."
Wait. It's a bad idea because the vaccination rate, as far as the last data I had checked, was the vaccination rate. I think in Japan is only 3% or around there, and that's not good.
It's below 5%. I knew that much.
Not good. Now, of course, this doesn't, variants being what they are, you don't put the blame on the populace. You put the blame on the government not being able to put shots in arms.
Well, that's an issue we were having here for the longest time.
I was going to say, I mean, we're talking about, vaccines and, at how we are with COVID. Look what's going over in Japan. Look what's going over north of the border in Canada, where they are just entering constant lockdowns.
Right. I mean, just cancel the Olympics. The athletes don't want to travel outside the country right now due to COVID.
I was going to say, my thing is, I guess if we have to cancel, we have to cancel. The only thing is, I like Nick's idea of maybe another year's delay more, only in this case, because I don't want to rob any of these, because these aren't professional athletes in most cases. Basketball. But I'm just saying. A lot of these guys and girls are amateur athletes. Like they may not get a second shot at the Olympics in 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Well, let me clarify one statement you make. We're seeing a lot more of these athletes training as professional athletes, so they are in some essence a professional athlete. But
they don't make money off of the.
They make money
off sponsorships.
Go ask. I forgot her name all of a sudden. She left Nike.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, she left Nike to go be with another sponsorship because apparently she didn't like Nike anymore. Which was a big deal. But like Michael Phelps, Misty May Trainer, that they never got any money from. Michael Phelps made more money off of sponsorships than any other athlete. Okay, so
I know.
Let's not say that Michael Phelps is poor by any stretch.
Oh, no, but I'm saying that's the importance of sponsorship, but also that I don't want any of these athletes getting robbed of an opportunity. So I would rather delay another year and have winter and summer, games in the same year. And then we could try to figure out a way back. Hey,
but can we stop calling it the 2020 Olympics? It's not the 2020 Olympics.
I know anymore. It's stupid, but I'm just saying. But MLB, not MLB, but technically the NBA and the NHL have had to adjust their season schedules 2 years now, and they're trying to get back to normalcy in the next season. I'm just saying the Olympics could do the same.
Yeah. But that's the other problem. The IOC doesn't know which year it is.
Guys, something we have to note at the end of we were gone for the last episode, and the Dodgers ended up signing Albert Pujols. Wait a minute,
so he didn't have to change area codes, so to speak.
No, and I was kind of shocked by this.
No,
I was kind of shocked by this because
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not shocked. I'm really not shocked because Albert Pujols will just go. He wants a ring.
But he's already got 2, and he should try to go for the 700 home runs. I don't know if he's going to have as good of a shot in LA as he could have in, say, Colorado.
Well, also no DH. This goes back to my point of no DH anyway. So,
also finish your career with the Cardinals. I think you owe them that.
There's no room for him there.
They got Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
All right, and guys, another breaking report, but kind of on the down low. I'll say I only put this up within the last hour on our account. Apparently, Julio Jones wants to be traded to New England.
So either he really wants to play with Cam Newton, or
He really wants to play with
Cam
Cam Newton.
Jones.
Who wants to play with
Yes,
Cam
he wants to play
Newton?
with Cam Newton.
Apparently,
I
Julio
play
Jones
with
and Cam Newton are good
that's
friends.
only because I like Cam Newton.
Also, when you consider where Atlanta is right now, I don't exactly know their cap situation, but they just got Kyle Pitts. Calvin Ridley has broken out over the last couple of years. I think they still have Russell Gage, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So I mean, and Atlanta's not going anywhere. Plus,
Atlanta's a bust. Matt Ryan is somehow just surviving in a situation that.
So I think I'll say so. Maybe a change of scenery is needed for Julio Jones. I just don't know if Cam Newton or Mac Jones is exactly that scenery.
You know what this is? This is Julio get the stretch out of Atlanta right now, because Atlanta is basically a horrible, horrible team that is going nowhere. Can we just say Matty Ice is Matty Hell at this point?
So do you have to keep making good points with bad puns, or is that just like a verbal tick?
I'll do you one better. I'll do a bad quote. Like Katy Perry would say, 1 minute he's hot, 1 minute he's cold.
Oh,
save me from the bad puns.
In other news, Jeff Driscoll is signed with the Texans.
Okay, so on the level of wet fart in church to screaming apocalypse, how bad are the Texans going to be this year?
Bad.
Pretty bad. I mean, so obviously we have the Deshaun Watson controversy. We don't know. I guess they're going into settlement talks now. We don't know. We don't know how many games he's going to get suspended. They actually ended up taking Davis Mills in the third round of the NFL draft because the Texans, of course, didn't have a pick in the first 2 rounds. Good job. Great general management over there, Houston. But yeah, they're going to be bad. Their running game is David Johnson, who's washed up. Mark Ingram, I love Mark Ingram, but he's old. And Philip Lindsay.
This is like a bad version of like the final countdown, like where we're counting down to like all the madness happening.
Right. DeAndre Hopkins obviously got traded in that really terrible trade that they're still feeling to this day. Will Fuller just went fucked off to Miami, so your number 1 is Brandon Cooks, and I like Brandon Cooks, but I don't know if he's a number 1.
But Brandon Cooks does not a good football team.
Wait. You have Brandon Cooks, and who else do you have? You don't have anybody really else around him.
Hold on. There's one person we have to blame who's not with the organization anymore.
Bill O'Brien.
Yes,
Bill O'Brien.
So we can blame Bill O'Brien.
Himself.
You mean the coach, general manager that was a failed experiment?
Hey, DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't have to I don't get any first rounders. That sounds terrific.
Well, wait a minute. Do we all remember that he traded him because he didn't like the whole situation of DeAndre Hopkins with his personal life or whatever? That's why they traded him.
But you know what? DeAndre Hopkins and freaking Deshaun Watson, that was a terrific combination. If you had DeAndre Hopkins on this team right now, they wouldn't be projected 4-12 in the basement. No, they'd be projected to compete and win that division.
Well, I'm not really one to talk because I do root for a team that had its star receiver piss away a Super Bowl chance by shooting himself.
Wait a minute.
Shooting himself in the leg and a quarterback that trips over his own 2 feet. So
you could be a Jets fan if you want.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Here,
I'm going to have to decline on that one.
Don't talk about the Jets. Talk about the playoffs. Give me a few thoughts on the playoffs.
Oh, I don't know. Where do I begin? Do we have
than the Lakers?
Do we have the matchups? Because for some reason I forgot to bring the matchups up. That would have been a good idea. Actually, the playoffs are underway right now. Actually, so
all right, I'll get them up. So the NBA,
I have them right
here. Don't go through matchup by matchup. Just give me some generic thoughts.
I'm hoping Milwaukee actually plays a little better than they did past couple of years. They were very close. They should beat Miami. That's my opinion there. Miami, I don't think has enough. Jimmy Butler or not, I think
the Knicks have the best matchup they could with the Hawks.
I mean, all things considered, taking context of what you have.
Go ask Nate McMillan his thoughts on how he thought the Knicks are going to get more calls in this series than And he got fined $25,000 for that, by the way.
Good job.
Yeah, really, congratulations, because you got to try to find that hard.
How do you feel about the Nets, Nick?
Yeah. Speaking from a local perspective, I can say the Knicks have a lot less pressure on them than the Nets do.
The Nets should beat the Celtics because Jaylen Brown is out for this whole series and the rest of the playoffs. That's a big blow for the Celtics. The Nets are going to go through adversity. One way or the other, they're going to go through adversity.
Yeah. It's not going to be easy.
They should win.
The Sixers and the Wizards, I think that's a joke.
I wouldn't say it's as much of a joke as people are making it. Russell Westbrook has played really well. The triple-double king now over for the all-time lead. So I wouldn't say it's a complete joke. If Bradley Beal is healthy, it's a closer matchup than it should be. The Sixers should win, but I wouldn't say it's as much of a joke as people are making it out.
All right. But just from this point, Nick, who do you see in the finals? I was like, if you had to pick now, while the first round is still underway.
Bias aside, the Nets should make the finals. The big three of the Nets is more.
If they perform to the health that they can, they should be able to make it.
Right.
It should be them. It should be them or the Bucks or the Sixers. One of them should make it.
I'm still not buying the Sixers, to be quite honest.
Neither am I. But they are the number one seed for a reason.
And the Bucks, if the Bucks are like the Nets. If Giannis and that team of stars can actually perform, then maybe they'll make it. I just don't buy them either. First of all, with Kyrie and all his comments that he's saying basketball is not the most important thing to him right now, which, by the way, for a guy that's making $30+ million a year, if basketball is not the most important to you, then go take a hike, to be quite honest. They can win with James Harden and Kevin Durant and be fine. So, I don't know. It should be the Nets. Now, the West is a whole different animal in itself. And the Suns are playing great. The Jazz are the number one seed overall for the first time in their history. They got Donovan Mitchell back. They have Rudy Gobert, who's the top center in the NBA. Sorry, Joel Embiid, but it's the truth. And even though Joel Embiid is up there in the MVP discussion with Steph Curry and others, but I don't know. The West is much tougher than the East.
You're right.
Well, West is much tougher than the East, but what do you think the Knicks are going to do, gentlemen?
I hate to say this, but the Hawks are the better team in the matchup. They have the stars.
I think they can get past the Hawks. I think second round. I think they can win this series. I think it's going to come down to 7 games, but I think that they'll move forward. And I don't know who would be their potential matchups if they made it through. Do we have like a board? That would be easier for me to see like what the playoff bracket is. Oh, here we go. I think I have it right here. Let's see. I don't know. The Knicks will probably make it through the first round. I think they'll make it through the first round, but then I think they're going to be dead to rights in the second round. Is there reseeding in the NBA playoffs?
No.
Okay, so then they'll probably end up getting stuck with. It's either going to be probably the Nets or the Sixers in the second round.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think the Nets will make the finals. Unfortunately, if this is how it's going to go, it might be Nets-Lakers in the finals.
All right. Very, very quickly, let me talk about some hockey. So, I mean, we got hockey's a little difficult because there is no set bracket. Everyone's playing still in their division. It's going to be one team from each division, and then they're going to seed everybody. So, it's a little tough to judge a matchup. I know the Avalanche are playing phenomenal with Rantanen, McKinnon, and Burakovsky. But my eye is on the Golden Knights in the West.
Well, I heard the Leafs.
They have been surprisingly good for what they were able to build. I mean,
right? Marc-Andre Fleury still doing good. Lehner, you got Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty, and Marshall still doing his thing, and as is Carlson. I got my eye on the Vegas Golden Knights. Maple Leafs, as Nick said, they are also another team to be watching out for with Austin Matthews, John Tavares, who, by the way,
Yeah, can you explain that injury?
They're actually going to be without John Tavares, aren't
That injury was brutal.
Yeah. Ooh. That's hockey for you, though.
I'll say, but that shows some of the toughness that Tavares still wanted to be out there, still fighting.
That's why when I posted that video clip, you check it out at ETB Sports, we put it up there, and I said I think NHL is the toughest sport out of all 4 professional sports. And,
by a country mile.
Yeah. And we got a comment actually on that video basically saying, what about a 300-pound lineman landing on it? I said, no, sorry. When you're a moving target on the ice in the NHL, I think that's worse.
It really depends on what you're looking at.
I think football's a close second. I think it's
You're a moving target in the NHL. You can't stop yourself. At least in the NFL, you can stop yourself.
I mean, in terms of the Eastern Conference and the team,
well, again, you can't really judge. You can't really judge by conference because of the whole structure to the season. But the Islanders are a team to watch out for with Bailey and Eberle.
Right.
Sorry. Pittsburgh, of course, still going to be in the conversation with Crosby and all of them. In terms of and you got the defending champs, the Lightning. You always got to mention the Lightning with Palat, Stamkos, McDonough's still there. Is Shesterkin still there? I don't know I don't think Shesterkin's there anymore. No. Still. Point Palat. If I'm going to pick a finals matchup, I think.
How can you go against the Golden Knights?
There's just something about the Golden Knights. I know the Avalanche technically edge them out on a tiebreaker for the best team this season, but there's just something about the Golden Knights that interests me. I feel like this could finally be their year.
But everyone was saying that the Maple Leafs are like a major favorite. Is that true?
Yes, they are a major favorite.
Yeah.
But the Maple Leafs are also one who always collapses in the postseason. So with that, I am actually going to say for a projected finals, I'm going to say Golden Knights. I think the Lightning have a chance to get back to the finals.
That would be.
Do I think they'll win? No, I think either the Knights or the Avalanche may, one of the 2 best teams in this in the NHL this season will end up taking it. But
wait a minute.
So I'm gonna go Avs Lightning.
Well, I can't come up with a prediction. I haven't really watched, but I was going to say, are you saying the Maple Leafs are the Houston Rockets of the NHL?
Yes, but in today's circumstance, not necessarily on them because of the brutality of Tavares' injury. Not necessarily their fault in that case. But yeah. All right. So that's going to do it for this edition of Empty the Bench. Remember to always check us out here on twitch.tv/ETB Sports. Always follow, always subscribe to us.
And make sure you check out the interview I did with Jay Mariotti. By the way, very honest, very open, very opinionated.
You can follow us all across. You can find that and follow us across all our social medias at ETB Sports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Here's our personal Twitters down at the bottom, scrolling there. You can see. That's going to do it. For Nick Morgeson, Nick Federa, on Alabama. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody!
Good night.